I'd like to start off my speech by giving you a bit of background that is necessary for me to present my counterclaim and to point out to do my rebuttal. Title 23, Section 158 of the United States Code, more commonly known as the National Minimum Drinking Age Act of 1984, in essence states that it is unlawful for persons less than 21 years of age to purchase or publicly possess alcohol. That's it. It leaves it vague for each individual state to come up with their own consumption laws. California and Nevada, for example, have no laws prohibiting consumption of alcohol for persons less than 21 years of age. The claim of fact that I'm going to be refuting today is that lowering the drinking age to 18 years old will help boost both American social sophistication and benefit the economy. There are secondary claims that the current drinking age of 21 years old is the cause for today's drinking problems among young people. Their second secondary claim is that American citizens become legal adults with privileges before they turn 21 and therefore deserve the right to purchase alcohol also. Their third secondary claim was that more sales of alcohol would generate a stimulus in the economy. My counterclaims are: 1, the age set so high to purchase or publicly possess alcohol because young adults are too immature and or inexperienced to be trusted to buy and consume alcohol without supervision. And 2, if underage drinking is already a widespread problem, lowering the age will have no effect on increasing sales, but may inadvertently make underage drinking an even more widespread problem. For my first counterclaim, according to the October 5th, 2010 issue of the Poly Post, an article titled "Lowering the Legal Drinking Age: How Polite Students Are Divided," states that lowering the national drinking age would not give minors the ability to drink at an earlier age than currently allowed, but it would grant them the ability to have state drink, devoid of the supervision of responsible onlooker. They go on to state that it would grant teens the option of taking the first taste in the company of their immature and inexperienced peers, the very type of environment where social pressures control the events of the day and sound judgment is polarized by the overwhelming desire to fit in. Such a circumstance would have devastating consequences. What they're trying to say is that if the law is to be left how it is now, there's nothing stopping teens from enjoying the first drink in a social setting with family and or relatives that can help them understand their limits and knowing when to stop. That is part of the reason that the law was left vague, and the federal law was left vague, so that individual states can implement whatever policy they thought was best within their borders. For my second counterclaim, if, according to the original argument, 3/4 of 12th graders, more than 2/3 of 10th graders, and about 2 in every 5 8th graders have consumed alcohol, lowering the age will have no effect in stopping the act, but may actually make it a more widespread problem. Since more people would be able to purchase alcohol with a lower age, it would make it easier for people under the age of 18 to acquire alcohol, thus making underage drinking a more widespread problem. Also, according to the original source, Technomic, a food industry research company, they state that while they expect sales to be down in 2010, they also expect to see growth in 2011 in consumer spending on alcohol. This short decline in sales can be more appropriately blamed on the recession and have nothing to do with underage drinking or lowering the drinking age at all. In conclusion, my two counterclaims were that the age is set high to purchase or publicly possess alcohol because young adults are too immature and inexperienced to buy and consume alcohol without supervision. And if underage drinking is already a widespread problem, lowering the age will have no effect in increasing sales, but may actually make underage drinking a more widespread problem.
All right, well, it starts off effectively labeling the advocate's claims, and you do give us this background, but then basically you present your counterclaims, and the counterclaims are never being applied directly to the advocate's points. It's basically your own structure on separate arguments that are responding to the general proposition as opposed to the individual claims that the advocate presented. Now, you do occasionally make references to some of the advocate's arguments, but you never directly deny any of the claims that are being made there. Instead, you're arguing, like I said, the counterclaim. And I thought that the counterclaims were okay. I think the analysis on the second point was pretty good about the underage drinking likely to increase, and I thought that that made a little sense. It was a little underdeveloped, and so you could probably use some additional evidence on that. I thought the argument about the sales thing, for instance, first of all, where are you? I know you're there somewhere there. Yeah, no, there you are. I'm sorry. I thought the argument in the first place that we ought to lower the drinking age to bump the sales of alcohol companies is a little bit ludicrous. But you go ahead and make an argument that says, you know what, they're not really going to lose that much anyway, and in fact they're expecting an increase next year anyway. Okay, well that eliminates the need. If there's only an economic argument for doing it, then that's what we should do. Now, you never talk about on any of the rights issues, and I think that you could probably get away with that because it is a value argument, but you ought to say that's the reason I'm not responding to this is because it really doesn't advance the main proposition. It's got something to do with a separate value, not a factual claim. And so you need to make that argument there. All right, thank you.